All right, just waiting for the audio to come through, guys. All righty. Let me wait for this ad to play, guys, and we'll get started right away here. We'll let a few people roll in as well. All right, audio is good to go. Here we go. All right, wait for a couple more people to roll in, but we are going to go over some Apple liquid glass today, and then we're also going to talk about some geometry node stuff that we can experiment with this, but we're going to just have a good time on Blender today. That's the plan. We're going to create some fun stuff. This is liquid glass. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. I'm just going to pull up the example that I'm referencing here, and then we'll go ahead and talk about it, all right? All right, so there's an exact example. This is the one I'm going for here. All right, so let me pull this up for you guys. So I think we've all seen this image, or at least maybe you've come across it within the last, like, I don't know, week or two when they started announcing everything for, what was it, iOS? I don't even know what version they're on, 26? What are they on, 26? That's crazy. All right, so iOS 26, of course, we have liquid glass. It's basically this glass effect where everything kind of gets reflected in an interesting way. Now, it really is just glass at the end of the day, but I actually found this harder to achieve than I thought. We started it yesterday, and then we're kind of revisiting it today on this live stream. But overall, I figured out a pretty good method for how to achieve something similar. I've watched a couple of other people cover similar tutorials, so we're going to be using some of the techniques that they used as well. And yeah, we're just going to hop right into it and create this liquid glass effect. All right, so first thing we're going to do is, let me just get this out of here. I'll leave this up as a reference on my other screen so I can see it, but I just want to kind of go over how this works. Basically, we have a very specific shape that sort of acts like a lens. Let me just go ahead and reset that. There we go. So this is basically our lens, right? This is our glass. And you can kind of see how the glass warps whatever's underneath of it, right? And you can kind of see how it kind of wraps around the glass. I found that that was the hardest thing to achieve, but I did end up figuring it out with a custom shader that I've developed and also just custom lighting. So we're going to go over how to do this. I'll just break down the scene for you guys real quick. We have an overhead camera. This is an orthographic camera. We have an area light. We have a white reflector plane on the left and a black, almost like a catch frame right here on the right. This kind of just catches the light and diffuses it just in a dark version, if that makes sense. And I just want to show you what this looks like without that. So without, with, without, with. You can kind of see there's a pretty solid difference. Now, if you're going for that lighter look, that's fine, but if you want to increase the contrast on the glass, you're going to need something to reflect off of that glass. And I used to do photography in real life, not just in Blender. So using things like this, it's pretty effective, right? Like, you think about how light would bounce around in real life. It's really important to consider that because glass is going to look different depending on the environment that it's in. We also have a flat plane underneath all of our objects, and then we just have some simple planes that I've added some bevel modifiers to. So I'm going to show you guys how we go about doing this. It's pretty simple, and we're going to kind of set it up from scratch. We're not going to get this exact result, but I do have this file available for you guys to download. All right, so very first thing we're going to need is, of course, a plane, and we'll just keep things small. We can keep it the exact same size. I'll duplicate that plane, rotate it on the X, oh my God, on the X-axis, and then we'll move it off to the left. I'll scale this out quite a bit so we have room for our reflector, and then I'll just duplicate it on the Y, and there we go. So now we kind of have something that looks like those spaceships from Star Wars. What are those things called? I guarantee you someone drop it in the chat. I forget. X-Wings? I want to say X-Wings, maybe something like that. It kind of resembles that a little bit. Just go ahead and give this a quick save as, I don't know, tutorial, glass, whatever you want. I like to save my projects early on just in case something crashes. This is cycles, yep. Yep, this is definitely cycles. So what we're going to do here, I'll just go into rendered view. We'll go over to our world properties and kind of bring our light up a little bit. That looks good. For the right-hand plane, we're just going to give this a new material. We'll just get this done right away. Make that just a black color. You can just do a high roughness. Same thing on the left, but this time high roughness with a white color. And then for this one in the middle, I'm going to scale it out a little bit. We actually want this to be a slight off-white color, almost a gray, and that'll make sense once we add our area light in. All right, let's go back to solid view. And let's also turn on our random color variation here for our objects. I'm going to duplicate my plane and scale it down. Now, in order to accurately get this vibe of what's going on here, I'm going to add an image as a reference. So let's add an image mesh plane. I'll go to my downloads and I will locate that image that I've saved, which is right here. Awesome. And I'll just go into my material preview and we'll rotate it. Let's go to top-down view. That actually was already rotated the right amount. I'm sorry, I was in the wrong view. Okay, so this is our top-down view, and then because this is our top-down view, I am going to rotate these planes as follows. So they're on the left, and actually I want them to be on the right and the left like that. I want the black plane to be on the right, the white plane to be on the left. Now we'll take our plane that we've just added. We'll start scaling it down. There's really a fly in here. We'll start scaling it down. And I'm going to scale it down till it's about the height of the object I'm looking for. Let's just create this green one first because this is going to work on every object. This is a pretty cool little technique that you guys will probably appreciate. I'm going to tab into edit mode. I'm going to scale it out until I feel like it's about the size of the object. That looks good. And then all I need to do, guys, is add a bevel modifier, target the vertices here, increase the amount to about 1. And then just increase the segments to 22 or 20, whatever you want. The more segments, the smoother it's going to be. And now we have this awesome piece. And what's great about this piece is now we can duplicate that. And however long we scale it, it'll maintain that bevel, right? And if we want a circle, make it square, and we have a circle. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and click on this top piece right here. And I'm going to make it that green color. In order to get that green color, I'm just going to give this a new material, and I'm going to use my eyedropper tool to get almost that exact green. It might be a little bit darker, maybe a little bit more saturated than that. That's just about right. All right, so we have that piece. Let's also just quickly duplicate it. Actually, we have it down here. Let's go ahead and scale this down and make the other piece as well. Again, I'm just scaling it on the x-axis, and I don't know if you guys can see this. You might not be able to see this, but there's also a very, very vague gray part of this one as well. So we'll duplicate this, move it down just a little bit, and for this top one, we're going to make that a nice blue color. Go ahead and target that blue. That looks fine to me. The blue is going to be on top of the gray, so we'll just make sure it's right on top, and we'll duplicate this material to create a slight gray material. Awesome. Perfect. All right, the next thing we need to do is I'm going to move our image reference down, and I'm going to hide it. And then I'm just going to move all of these pieces down so they're barely touching the ground. Remember, we kind of want them floating sort of right above the ground here. We want them to be like they're touching, right? All right, we'll take our green piece and duplicate that, and we're going to use this to create our glass. So go ahead and we're going to add some more modifiers. Now, I have a custom modifier stack that I used, and I actually took a screenshot of that. So we're going to use that custom modifier stack. And here it is right here. Let's go ahead and plop it on over here. All right, so with our custom modifier stack, you guys can see that we have a bevel. We have a solidify modifier. Now this is going to give our glass some thickness here. So let's go ahead and add a solidify modifier. And this is basically going to create a chunk of glass. Now for the solidify modifier, I found that a value about 0.5 works really well. I'll also get rid of this material so I'll just make this pink so you can really see what we're working with here. All right, and we'll go back to our modifiers. We now need a remesh modifier. Okay, and we'll set that to smooth and about 8 for the octree depth. Oops. 8, that's about right. And then we're going to smooth this. Now, usually you would think you just shade smooth and you're good to go, but I actually found that this corrective smooth modifier works a lot better. I saw this in another tutorial, so we're going to use that. Corrective, or smooth corrective. We're going to set the factor to 1. We're going to put the repeat to 200. This would be a good time to save just in case Blender crashes. And then click check only smooth. For some reason, that just smooths everything over, and it looks really nice. Now let's delete this material, add a new one. We'll make it glass with 0 roughness. And let's just see what we have so far. Let's go to our top-down view. Now, so far, we have glass, and it is sort of refracting things, right? You can kind of see we have a little bit of refraction here. But we're going to create our own custom shader setup just for this glass. And guess what? I also screenshotted that node setup. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. I will get to everybody's questions in just a moment here. Where is the shader? There it is. All right, so this custom shader is somewhere. There it is. That's not it. There it is. All right, perfect. So we're going to use this custom shader, and we're going to build this out in the shader editor. This is from an earlier video. All right, we'll go over to the shading tab. We will click on our glass right here. Zoom out a little bit. This can be a pretty simple material. We need a mix shader. We need another glass BSDF to act as our outer rim, and this will make sense in a second. Plug them in as follows. There we go. And then all we're going to have to do now is we need a color ramp and a layer weight. This will make sense in just a moment. The color ramp is to control the layer weight and kind of like the effect that it has on everything. We'll use the facing value plugged into the FAC, and then we're going to invert this value, okay, and plug that into the mix factor. All right. Now, you're not going to notice too much of a difference right away, but we'll make our glass BSDF about 1.33 on the bottom, and the top one will reflect that to 1.1. Now you're starting to see something here, right? Now what happens if we adjust these values? Well, let's go with a value of 0.6 for the layer weight, and then we're going to go ahead and crunch this to about here. And you may not notice the difference, but it is a very, very subtle difference on the outside. Once we add our area light, this fly has got to go. Once we add our area light, you're going to notice how this mix shader works. So let's full screen this, and let's add an area light in here. Let's go back to the layout tab. If you guys hear me clap, it's because I'm about to kill this fly as soon as it comes back around. Thing is quick though. It's like it's one of those little gnats, but it's like been biting me, so it's time for that gnat to go. Okay, so we got an area light. We're gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna go to my X-ray mode real quick so we can take a look at this. I'm gonna rotate my area light kind of at an angle here, kind of like this, and I'm also gonna scale it down and out. It's gonna be like nice and thin like that. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at what this does to the glass. You can kind of already see this outer rim of the glass. All right. We're going to move this up and down on the Z-axis until we have something we really like. Might have to rotate it a little bit as well. Okay, let's take a look. Not bad. So right now, one of the main differences I notice, and this has to do with the height of the object. If you look, we're not getting the same refraction. That's because of the height of this object. So we're going to adjust the height of our object a little bit. Oopsies. Or is it the IOR? I'm trying to remember which one. And the other one, I had it just about perfect. Let's raise this up. And let's go to the top-down view. See, you can see that we're getting this wrapping effect here. Oh, you know what I didn't do, guys? This is a big fail on my part. We have to adjust the scale of this. Let's look at how big the glass is in the actual screenshot. Let's actually do this in edit mode. Let's go ahead and raise this up. I feel like something like that looks about right. Now we're kind of getting that effect we're looking for right there, right? And then we can adjust the Z value until we're pretty happy with it. There we go. That's a little bit better. Now you can see we're getting some of the reflection of the image plane as well, which we don't want. But more or less, that's pretty much it. That's more or less pretty much it. So let's go ahead and adjust our lighting. The only thing we don't have right now that I want is a stronger, oh my God, not that strong, stronger light source. Let's go ahead and move this. Let's scale it down a little bit, move it up. There we go. Let's try 50. And let's angle it down a little bit too. There we go. That's a little bit better. So now you're starting to get that shadow as well. And if you want that glare, like we talked about earlier, go ahead and click on your shader, and you kind of start to adjust these values. Notice how the outside begins to get a little bit rough. We're actually adjusting that roughness on the outside. Let me just show you where that is. Let me show you. See if we invert this. Oh my God, I had the inversion wrong. I accidentally plugged in the inversion to the FAC. That's my fault, guys. You do not want to do that. You want to plug it into the color. The reason I'm showing you this too is because this, what I'm doing right now, basically is controlling like where this value is, which is gonna give that like nice strong highlight. It's kind of hard to see right now though. Let's adjust our value here. That's a little bit better. Now you can kind of see this highlight on the outside. It's being controlled by this color ramp. And you can increase this roughness here if you want it to be even stronger. Not bad. I also like to mess around with the IOR down here because the IOR is ultimately going to determine what your glass looks like. If you're getting these jagged edges, you can smooth it even further. And don't forget to shade smooth. That's more or less pretty much it. I see people talking in the comments. I am going to check those in just a second because I'm super curious to see what you guys are talking about. Let's try 1.2. That doesn't look bad either. Again, the distance is ultimately going to determine like where this stuff gets refracted as well as this color ramp right here. I feel like that doesn't look too bad in terms of the refraction and the way that the light is warping around everything. Now, if we go back to my original example, for some reason, I just got it like just perfect. Again, there's little things in between that you have to get perfect in order to make this work. All right, I'm going to quickly look at the comments real quick, and then we'll go back to my original file. We'll see if there's anything I did differently. How much would you recommend tweaking it? Do you think Apple will bake the UI or use some sort of algorithm? Yeah, I do think so. I've actually been thinking about this for a while, probably too much. A lot of people don't like the new Apple UI. I don't mind it at all. I think it looks really good, but some people are saying like it's too distracting for like the elements behind it. You can see right here, I just got it like so perfect. I don't know how I got it this perfect, but this template is available on my Gumroad. Excuse me. So with Apple, I think they are using some kind of algorithm because at the end of the day, I don't know that they're going to be able to render something in real time like Cycles would. I feel like that would take a lot of computing power and it would really drain your battery life. Yeah, but what the heck do I know? I just joined, might have missed the introductions, but I think I get what you're saying. Apple makes it look like it's calculated. I don't know how they do it because it is happening in real time, so it must be utilizing the pixel data and doing something with it. Here's another cool example. Again, it's really hard to it's hard to get this effect though. It really is. Somehow they just nailed it. Like, especially when you look at, maybe it's the lighting, maybe there's like hidden lighting that I'm not seeing. I don't know how they're doing it in this specifically, but it won't look like that as much in the UI. Now, if we're looking for something that's more frosted, like this, you just raise the roughness on your glass, right? Yeah, like stuff like this. This is just like a frosted glass look. Like I think we all know how to do that, and it has like a layer weight on the outside. Like we could probably try that too. Let's try to recreate like this kind of effect here and see what that would look like. This fly's got to go. Did I get him? No. I didn't get him. In fact, I'm applauding at this point I'm applauding the fly. That's what it seems like to the fly because I've missed. All right. Let's open this image. I just want to see this. I'll kind of analyze this for a second. This is a low quality image, but you kind of get the vibe. Again, it kind of has like this highlight effect to it. Apple's really good with this kind of stuff. Like it kind of drives me crazy. Like I'm impressed, but it drives me crazy because I really want to create it myself. So let's go ahead and just duplicate this material that I made. I'll go back to the shading tab and I am going to make a new material. I'll just duplicate the one I already have. Okay. Give us some room here. I'll duplicate this and say frosted. Now, what I want to do is I just want to raise the roughness here. I'm also going to disable denoising for a minute because I want to really see what this looks like. And then on the outside, I just want to have that nice highlight, which we kind of already have. So that's kind of the vibe right there. Same shader setup, but in this case, we're just diffusing the glass kind of with this roughness value. I just want to show you though how important this IOR is. This is 1.3, which is the IOR of basically of water, and then there's like 1.45, which is like real glass, and then there's 2, which is just this. So yeah, I'm sure maybe the IOR of 2 is actually a real material in real life. I don't know. I mean, if you're trying to go for something more subtle, you can do like 0.2, but then it's almost too distinguished. Like you can see this line too much. So maybe 0.5 is the vibe. Not bad. Not bad at all. Also, the reason I turned this pink earlier is to see where this outline was. So if you need to like adjust how far it comes in. So like, see how now it's a slight gradient and it's coming in for that highlight? Now I can put this back to white. And now you have this really nice highlight on the outside. And this is why layer weight is so important. 0.59, let's try 0.7. Not bad. Again, I think it looks good, my personal opinion. About that denoising tweaking, I've got my RT. Oh, you guys are talking about denoising. Yep. I make a video of every possible solution. It's not practical. New denoising does a lot. Wow, you guys are all about the denoising in the chat. Yeah, I think I like denoising sometimes because I can get a really quick rough idea of what the final render is going to look like. And then sometimes if it looks good enough, I can lower the samples and then I can just render it as is, you know, without having to like wait to get an idea of what it's going to look like. But yeah, overall, guys, I do think this looks really good. I think that's basically the tutorial. So at this point, what I'm going to do is we're going to kind of talk about probably how to morph like two shapes together, kind of like they do in liquid glass where they kind of like pull apart. For example, let me just see if I can kind of like, why doesn't it want to let me like look at this window? This one. My like computer's been like acting up. Anyway, this right here, like we can create that using geometry nodes. We kind of talked about this yesterday with like putting two pieces together, but I want to make it more modular. Like I want to make it, I don't know, I want to make it so that you guys can like control where these pieces are and how they get separated. So let's like see if we can do that. Let's just focus on the geometry right now because we had something recently that was pretty good. I think it was, which one was it? Let me look at my project. I have so many. Can you guys tell I use Blender a lot? Was it this one? No, it was... No, was it this one? Which one was it? Was it this one? Maybe it was this one. I don't remember. I'll be totally honest, guys. I don't remember which one it was. I feel like it might be this one. No, this was not it. But this was a cool one. This one we went over all this nonsense. It's like you would think it would be less complicated, but it's not. All right, I'm just going to see if I can recreate it from scratch. Let's see how much I remember. I'm pretty sure you guys already know how I'm going to start this tutorial with a single vertice. Also, my quirky side might be coming out, so just fair warning there. All right, so someone said just in time. Did I miss the part where you lose your mind? No, that's coming right up. That's going to be probably within the next 5 minutes. All right, so let's start with a... Was it a cube? I think we started with a cube last time. All right, we'll start with a cube, and then we will do mesh to volume, okay? And then we'll do volume to mesh. Kind of like counterproductive because it's like, why not just start with the mesh? But the reason we're doing this is because we are going to join the geometry. I'll tell you why we don't use metaballs. Because metaballs, there's not as much control over like the shape. Now you could just real quick because I'll entertain that. You could use a metaball plane, and you could just have two metaballs right next to each other. Let me just scale this down like this, and you could warp them apart like that. I guess that would work. The reason we're not going to use metaballs is because I'm crazy and I want to see how we can do it in geometry nodes. But also, geometry nodes I feel like has a little bit more control. And I don't know, metaballs kind of drive me crazy, especially like when it comes to deleting them. Like, look, I deleted them, but then this thing's still here. What the heck's up with that, Blender? Why don't you guys fix that? There's your next update for you. All right, so join geometry. We're going to have two separate cubes. They're going to be joined together, and we're going to set their position separately so that we can make them go near or away from each other. So already you can kind of start to see the effect here. So when I bring this one closer, right, you can see that it's kind of already pretty close. I'm going to make both of the Z values really low because we're just going to have these get rounded off at the end anyway. So here's the voxel amount, right? This voxel amount is more or less, I believe, what we're focused on here. And here's why. Because when you lower the voxel amount, you start to separate those, you can kind of see what's happening here, right? Especially if we take this and we make it smaller. Let's make this a little bit smaller here. There we go. Now when we adjust it, you can see that it kind of snaps away, right? And then we can take this and subdivide it. Subdivision surface. Now we have something that's smooth. Let's just call this something we can remember. Cool. All right. You can see as I separate these, they kind of like morph And again, that voxel amount, I believe, this is the density. Let's increase the density. I believe that voxel amount is what's going to ultimately make it smoother. I don't know what this threshold is. I don't know what that is. Look at that, though. How cool is that? You can kind of see how it morphs into itself and then it goes away. I feel like that's really the effect. You just need to figure out how to round everything else. That's basically like what we're doing. In essence, this voxel amount is the remesh. So I'm just going to say, like, I need to stabilize this desk. I'm going to say remesh. So my new thing is my random ADHD comments like, oh, I need to stabilize this desk, or, oh my God, I forgot I just put laundry in, and I set an hour timer. So in about 31 minutes, that's going to go off. But I'll completely forget about it by the time that it goes off. I'm going to call this initial geometry. You'll never find a live stream like this. This is just joining, so I'll keep that separate. One of the cool things you could do, consider this. You could have a value, and then you could have a combine XYZ. And instead of controlling the offsets independently, like this, you could just have them separate at the same time, kind of like what we did yesterday. So I'll just plug in the vector here. I will, oh my gosh, what was I using? The Y. I was using the Y, so we'll do a Y value of 1. So now I can control this here. But what if I want them both to be controlled separately? Well, I can just multiply this, not add, but multiply by -1. Plug that into the Y, into the other offset. Now when I control this, they'll both be pushed apart at the same time. I don't know if that made sense. It makes sense in my brain somehow. But so they get closer and then they go apart. So if you want them to start at 0, you can animate this. So I'll just go to my timeline. I'll type in 30. So I'll just do 30 frames. I'll hover over this value. I'll press I to insert a keyframe. I realize you guys can't see the timeline, but don't worry. And then I'll go to frame 30 and I'll separate them. And now if we press play, there they are separating. They're not very smooth. So I'm wondering if, I'm just going to let this keep playing. I'll give this a quick save. I'm wondering if right here before we start the smooth process, and yes, I am going to call this smooth process. What if before the smooth process we merge by distance? Oops, merge by distance. And then let's just try a high value. Let's try something like that. It's a little too, like, blocky. Yeah, I feel like it's not going to work the way I think it is. That's okay, though. All right, now here's the other question. Do we take our cube and subdivide it right away to start it out as, like, more of a circular mesh? Let me just see if this works. Subdivision the surface. Ah. Am I on to something here? Maybe. Okay, so we have something that's like circular. Now, what if we did this with like a cylinder, or we could just target geometry that we already have pre-built if we want to, and we probably would get the same result. Let me think. Hold on, I'm thinking, I'm processing. Just see something here. This is with them both subdivided. Again, this isn't the result I'm looking for because it's subdividing. Maybe I need more vertices? No. Can you have one vertex? No, you cannot. I didn't think so. Okay, so right now, we're kind of like in this weird zone of like this works, but the geometry doesn't look very good. So why don't we go ahead and try it with a cylinder and see if that works instead. Also, I just realized, is it possible that I can use the same mesh on both sides? It is. Haha. So why is this a good discovery? Because now I can just type in cylinder and I can plug it in here. Oh Lord, what is happening? Actually, let's do no subdivisions on that. There we go. All right, depth. There we go. Okay. So now we have a cylinder that's kind of breaking apart, but let's adjust the radius a little bit. There it is. So this is the effect we want. Why is like, oh, do we have to split the edges? Is there an edge split in geometry nodes? Perhaps. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Is there an edge split? Edge, angle, split edges. Oh, if this works, it does not, but that's pretty cool. Why did I think this was gonna work? Oh, because I need an edge crease? Hold on. I feel like, because, oh no, you split the edges and then you do subdivision. Hold on, you do subdivide mesh, right? Did I do that correctly? Let me just try something. Nah, that did not work. Oh, guys, hold on. Brain blast. I'm remeshing it right here. Come on, dude. Get it together. Sorry, guys. Total... It was like the opposite of a brain blast. I need to split the edges here, and then I need to subdivide the mesh. Or do I need to use a subdivision surface? If this works, this would be great because I'd really like to get this to be smoother. Let's also raise the voxel count. It's hard to tell. Why are we getting such glitchiness here? Oh, because I have to plug this in here. Oh, that's not gonna work. Let's try the original cylinder. And let's just try more vertices, I guess. 165, now let's do 50. All right, we'll do 50. And then voxel amount, I guess we'll raise this up a little bit. That's not what we want. There's definitely a fine line for how this is going to work here. Oh, we need to shade smooth, of course. How could I forget? What the heck? Amount? Oh, here we go. Oh, that's pretty smooth. Okay, hold on. Guys, I'll be totally honest with you. I'm not sure about like what this value does. That's not what you want. Okay, density. That's pretty cool looking, but that's not what we're looking for. It almost reminds me of something you could do in like Adobe Illustrator. Oh, guys, let's just add another modifier. Let's add that smooth. Remember that smooth modifier I was talking about? Smooth corrective. Only smooth. And that's the tutorial. Is it slow? Yeah. Also, we need to, now that I know that works, let's go back to geometry nodes, and I want to see if I can get away with less vertices. Maybe not that many. Let's try 20. And also, let me just try that. Okay, 100 works good. That looks pretty good. And I mean, if you wanted it to be smoother, could you make it happen? Yeah. Is this pretty awesome that we achieved this in geometry nodes? Yeah, it is. My work here is done. The problem with voxels is that they still live on a grid. You need to mesh massive resolution to make it smooth. Yeah. I will say it is frustrating. One of the things that is not available in geometry nodes yet, I guess, is kind of like that remesh. There should be like a remesh node. I guess there kind of is with like merge by distance, but at the same time, like you have triangulate, you have merge by distance. There's probably like something to quads. You could probably do that too. But this looks pretty promising. Again, we can raise this value up, right, to 200. And now we have something that's super, super smooth. But it's still really not that smooth. Why isn't it that smooth? How many subdivisions do I have? Oh, there's one less subdivision, which actually looks better because I do think, so one of the like heavy, as they call it. And when I say heavy, I mean like needs a lot of processing power. One of the heavy nodes is subdivision surface or subdivide, because you're adding more geometry to something. But now it's at a faster frame rate. We're still at about half, because again, we're running at 30 frames total, and we're running at about half that. So it's actually it should take a full second. It's taking more like 2 seconds to actually play the full animation. Eventually you'll need it to be points and tries. Yeah. But this looks pretty good. Let me just see something. I want to see what this looks like in wireframe. This is the wireframe, just if anyone's curious. I mean, this is kind of what we're working with here. It's pretty cool. Let's make it glass. Let's do it. Let me just add a quick like HDRI on here. Scale that up a bit. Make this glass. It's a low roughness. We'll go ahead and set the material right here. And boom. Yeah. That looks good. Okay. Just for the heck of it, you ever just press the wrong thing and you're like, oh my god, what did I just do? I just want to see something here. Because in here we can scale it. I just want to see what this would look like with something underneath of it. Okay, there we go. Looks pretty darn cool. Yeah, that's cool. Tell you what though, the viewport, let's try more like 200 with denoising. Cool. Not enough coffee in this thing, let me tell you. But that is cool. Like, that's a vibe right there. What do you guys think? He said, yes, that is awesome. I completely agree. This is really sick. Especially like this kind of ending moment right here. And then don't forget, we are all the way up at the roughness. So if we turn the roughness down, you could also like go crazy with the IOR, like let me go 1.8 or something. Now you're really getting this like glass to morph around here. I mean, that's pretty cool. Looks good. Heavy on the CPU, but for the final animation, this would work perfectly. Yeah, like, I mean, you'd have to figure out a way to play it back like very quickly. I guess you could just turn off the smooth corrective, or the corrective smooth, just for this example. So cool. Again, there's like, I do feel like there's a lot you could do with this. This right here is basically like your cell division. Like, we could really, I mean, guys, if we really wanted to, we could like go in here and like make this look like mitosis. We could do something crazy with this, but this is really awesome. All right, what do you guys want to see next? We didn't spend too much time on that. We only spent about 38 minutes total on what we've done so far. Is there anything else you guys want to see that we haven't covered, or just anything you want to mess around with in geometry nodes, shaders? Like, what would you guys want to learn about? Some physics stuff? I mean, try to be specific with your comments, because I can get into something. You know, we have enough time where like I can get into a whole nother topic here. Have you thought about manipulating refraction rays, like how they render black holes in movies? I have not, but that sounds really cool. You mean like Interstellar? I've heard in Interstellar they've done stuff like that, and that's really interesting. I can't imagine it being like too crazy. I mean, I guess you mess around with the nodes. I don't really know. That's cool. What a neat like thing you can do in geometry nodes. Like, look how cool that is. Very awesome. I love it. I love it. How would I go about making folds in fur? Folds in fur. Oh, I don't know. Like with a particle emitter, or sorry, with a hair system. Is that what we're talking about? When you say a fold, you'd have to send me like an example, but a fold in fur, I guess, with something like that, you would have to have a geometry that already folds on itself, like and overlaps, and then you just instance fur or hair onto that. It's probably light paths. There's also a separate refraction BSDF node. I did notice that, and I'm not sure like what that's primarily used for, but it is cool. This is really interesting. I'm imagining now, like, there's something really cool you could do with this. I just don't know what. I used to have this thing, and it was basically a magnetic field viewer, and it really reminds me of, like, this right here, because it's, like, warping these lines. So interesting. I love the moment where it, like, snaps apart, because it's so quick. Let me just see something here. I'm just doing this for me. RZ90, there we go. Very fun. Again, I have no idea what this is, but it's fun. It's like watching myself on the screen, like, is this an enjoyable stream? If so, drop a comment. Let me know how you feel. Oh, this was the one, is this the one we did yesterday? Oh, yeah. That was a fun one. There's so much, like, half the stuff that I stream about, guys, is really just me messing around, and then I'm like, wait a second, we could make a tutorial on that. Like, a lot of people ask about, like, cutting things in half, like, you can do that. So let's, like, start, let me think. Let's start in a new document here, and let's think. Now, if you did want to do, you could make fur. I have a fur shader that I made on my Gumroad. I'll just go to my Gumroad real quick for you guys. This isn't an advertisement, but I want to show you the one I'm talking about. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Fuzz, sorry. My fuzz shader, this is it right here. And this is kind of like I don't know if this is what you're going for, but I did drop this on my Gumroad. And this is a fun one because you can apply fuzz to pretty much anything. This is why I love geometry nodes, because it lets me create these new products. And it's super like versatile. Like you can use it for pretty much anything you want to. This is a fun one right here. But yeah, creating something like that is relatively simple, but it gets really complex when you want to make it customizable, like so that the person that downloads the file or uses your file can easily manipulate things themselves. Let me think for a minute. I'm brainstorming. I don't have any new ideas at the current moment, but I will tell you that one of the fun things to do is if you do apply like a fur shader to something, you can have like this amazing backlit lighting to it to really outline the fur itself. Let me search through my documents. Let's see what we have that we can explore. Sometimes I'll find an old project and I'll pick back up on it and create something really, really interesting with it. What is this one here? What was this? Oh, this was Loop. Oh, this was when I was developing a new shader. What did I like? Oh, okay. I did end up doing something cool with this. This was kind of a fun one. I don't know. I don't know if you've already done it, but I always loved your blueprint slider setup. That actually helped me push me to pick up Blender. Oh, the blueprint one. Oh yeah. No, the blueprint one was a lot of fun. I could show you guys how to create that blueprint shader. Now that it's been so long, I guess I do owe everybody like a tutorial on it. Because at the end of the day, like you guys deserve to know how to make it. Okay, we could, what time is it? Yeah, we could do a blueprint shader. Do you guys really want to learn how to do that? We could do that. I think if I remember how I did it, there was also this is just such a cool looking like thing. Like I don't know what I was doing here, but it looks interesting. There's definitely some kind of like color ramp or something going on here. Did I make this customizable? No, I didn't get to the customization yet, but this is a cool one. Be right back again. He says, be right back again. I didn't know you left. I defer to the crowd. All right, well, let's do this. Let me at least get a model so that we can use a model that I already have, and then we can create a blueprint around that. Let's see. Where is like a cool model that would work really well for this? God, I have to show. Oh, this is the shader right here. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. So looking back, so here's the thing. This is the node setup. Looking back, it used to be a lot more complex. This model, I didn't model this, but I used this as a reference example to show what this would look like. I actually think now I would probably do this differently. Like now that I know more, I might even be able to make this even better than it already is. Because really all I did was I used mixed shaders. I used like, I don't really know what else I used. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, so the idea behind this one was that like, let me go to a top-down view. There we go. Actually, it's not even really a good view. There we go. This is a good view. So like, you basically start like, you have a solid part of your mesh, and then the other part of the mesh is going to be this like transparent grid structure, layer weight like effect. But yeah, this is possible to make. I could probably make a super simplified version of this. Why don't we use throw it on your to-do list for Gumroad? Yeah. Why don't we use like do I have the Iron Man helmet in here? I think I do. There it is. Here's the Iron Man helmet. Oh, this one just looks so good. This shader, I mean, this is so not to get into money and stuff, but this shader that I developed is my top selling product, and it's made me thousands and thousands of dollars. This is my bread and butter here. This is like, this quite literally, more or less, can pay some of my bills, which is super awesome. And it's great that we have like a community that can like support each other like that. But yeah, this one was, I mean, it's just so much fun to use. Let me just see what the geometry on this looks like. Is this just one solid shape? Yeah, we'll use it. All right, we'll use the Iron Man helmet, and let's just see if we can recreate this shader. Guys, it's been a minute since I've like really developed like a shader of any sort. So let's go ahead and delete everything. And I guess we'll just hop right into it. I'm just going to call this shader blueprint, and we'll try to recreate it. Now, this shader, oh, it's funny, it's already on there. Let me delete the old shader. We'll create a new shader here. Okay, we'll call this blueprint. Okay, so the way this shader works is we're basically using a mixed shader between a transparency and a solid thing. So let me just show you how simple that is on its own. We'll use a mixed shader. Can you guys see these nodes okay? Here, let me do this. There we go, so you guys can see. Okay, there we go. So we have a mixed shader, and this is a principal BSDF, but to make this just super simple, let's use a diffuse and a transparent. I just want to show you guys the concept behind this. So right now we're mixing nothing, basically, which is transparent shader, with a diffuse shader, okay? And then to decide how much is used of one or the other, we can use this factor, right? So factor 1 means we're using all of the diffuse. Factor 0 means we're only using transparent. But how do we like control where that transition happens? Well, we can just use a color ramp. And if I plug in my color ramp to the factor, I crunch these, we use some mapping, we can decide where it starts and stops. Now, right now, you're not going to see anything because there's no like mapping or like location of this color ramp. So let's go ahead and add some mapping, texture coordinate. I'll just plug in the object to the vector for right now. And now you can see, it's a little weird. This is one of the challenges, but You can see that right now there's this line, right? This line is the color ramp. So we have transparent and we have a diffuse. This color ramp, you can see I can fade it more or less. I can make it super, super crisp. Now, if you want to really quickly make it crisp, just type in constant and it'll go from nothing to solid color. Or you can do linear. I just think that looks a little bit nicer, but that's basically how you fade between two things. But you're probably thinking, okay, that's great, Kenny, but how do I control where it is? I don't want to have to mess with the rotation and the location and all this stuff. Well, don't worry. There's more. I'm going to add an empty arrow. I'll just add an empty plane axis. That's fine. Where did that empty go? Oh, here it is. All right, so this empty, we can use this empty to control where our transition is. We simply, instead of choosing object, we'll choose object empty. And now this empty will control the transition. So now I can like go over here, I can rotate it, right? I can decide where this transition happens. I can scale it up or down. What's really cool is when you scale this, you're actually scaling the color ramp too. So now I can decide which part of this is solid and which is transparent. Now you're probably thinking this is really cool, but now how do you make the grid on the other side? Well, this is where instead of transparent, you plug in something different. In my case, I will type in, actually I need to keep this transparent, I'm sorry. I will type in another mix shader here, and then on the other side, this is where I'm going to start to outline my layer weight. And you can see it already kind of looks accurate. But let's see if we can like really, really oversimplify this. Let's just use a wireframe and let's plug it into another diffuse. We'll just make this green so we can see it. And we'll plug that into the color. Did I do that right? Oh yeah, there it is. All right, so there's our wireframe. But right now, remember, our factor isn't hooked up. So let's plug in our original color ramp. We're going to invert that. So now we're making the inverted part. So now half of this is now solid. Half of this is now wireframe. And then we can just adjust the size of the wireframe here if we decide it's too much. Right? Now, the only difference is you can't see through the wireframe. Don't worry. We're going to make that happen in just a second. We're actually going to plug in the wireframe to our invert color. And we actually don't need to invert the color. I'm sorry. You just plug the factor in. And now we have a wireframe. But wait a second. Now it's on the other side. What do I do? This is where I'm trying to remember how I figured this out in the first place, because I don't remember how I actually did this. If I remember correctly, I think I plugged the wireframe in. Oh, you know what I did? I mixed the wireframe. You're either gonna lose your mind or be like, this is really cool. I mixed the wireframe with its own transparency shader first. I used the wireframe factor there. Hold on. We're getting there. We're getting there. Did I invert it? I think I did invert it. I inverted it. And then I disconnected that. No. I did this. And then I inverted that. I think this is what I did. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so, sorry guys. Got a little complicated. I did a quick brain blast there, but we're good to go now. So, the original wireframe right here, this is the wireframe part. Okay? This is the original transparency. And then right here, we're inverting and mixing with the color ramp. Let me just show you guys this. Yeah, so we're inverting this because we want to invert the selection so that we have half of a wireframe, half of a solid color. And then what's really cool about this is we'll save. If you go to rendered view, it looks really, really cool. But you're probably thinking, well, that's cool, Kenny, but I don't really want this wireframe. I want it to look like your shader looked. Well, that's okay, because there's another mix shader involved. And if you don't want to see the wireframe anymore, you can, this is where it gets really, really fun. You can add another mix shader, another transparency, and then you can just control the factor. So if you don't want to see it, you get rid of it like that. But then you're probably thinking, okay, that's really cool, but there's nothing on this other one. Let me just show you how that works real quick. So right now, here's the factor or the opacity of the wireframe, right? And then we're going to add something else. I'm going to leave that alone because I want to plug in this freaking fly. I want to plug in something else to the mix shader. I want to plug in an emission. We're going to bring this down here. This is where things get really, really like complex because you have like now you have multiple layers going on. We're going to plug in the emission to the other shader, but we're just going to use the layer weight here. Layer weight. We'll do what is it? Facing? Did I do facing? I think it's facing. Yeah, and we'll just do color ramp here. I'm in all caps, but it's still working, so we're gonna go with it. I'm gonna crunch this down. There we go. Now we're cooking. So this was the basis for the other one. Remember, with the factor, we're gonna want. So this is where things get to be a pain. We actually want to mix this with another mix shader, and then if we just want it to be on the one side, we again plug in the the original, which is this one. Here, there we go. So now we want to mix these two things. Let's see if I can remember this. The emission, we want to mix that with a transparent shader because we want only the emission to be on this side. So transparent. Now what we have is we have the ability to bring back the wireframe, right? Which is right here, but why is it looking weird? We'll fix that in a second. And then we have the actual layer weight, which is like another part of this. Now you can see as you adjust, it kind of changes a little bit. If you don't like that, try Fresnel instead. Totally up to you guys how you want to do that. I think that the facing looks fine. This fly is I'm gonna put this fly, I don't know, outside. This fly needs to go. Okay, so that's basically like the overall concept of the shader, but why isn't this working? Let's figure that out for a second. What? Hold on a minute. Did I need to flip this? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? No. This is where like you need to kind of experiment a little bit because then you can have both layers. Like you can have the wireframe and the other part as well. Oh, you know why? Because there's no mapping. Did I only do mapping right here? I bet I did. I need to plug in the object mapping to the normal. No, where is it? Where is it? Hold on, guys. 1 second. No, that's not it, but that looked cool. And that was an accident. All right, where's our empty? All right, here's our empty. Again, we can control the transition here. We can scale it up and down. We can rotate it. So if we only want like the bottom half, right? This is the basis for that like blueprint shader. But it took some, it took some experimentation. And then of course you can change like the color of, what the heck? Oh, that was the timer I was talking about earlier. You can change the color of it as well, of course. And the roughness value. So like if you had an environment texture, you'd be able to really tell what's going on here. Let's see. Very cool. Oh, that looks awesome. So you guys kind of get the concept. And then this shader right here, you could replace that. Like you could do glass. Glass will probably look interesting. That looks cool. I dig that. That is a vibe. Let me just scale this up real quick. I just want to see something because darn it, that looks cool. I never would have thought to mix it with glass, but it looks really interesting. That looks awesome. That looks really, really sick. Let me just... That looks so cool. Yeah, that is awesome. Oh, and then don't forget this fly. Sorry guys, this fly keeps getting me. I don't know why this fly thinks it has any right to be biting me right now. This is crazy. Okay, the color ramp controls the like fall off for the gradient. So like that, I mean, that's a vibe right there. Like, let me just set up a camera. I can't help myself now. Now I got to set up a camera here. Let's just pop into that camera. Let's raise the camera up, move it back a bit. And let's just do an orthographic perspective because I just want to see like what this looks like. This is really, really awesome. I am super happy with that. Even though this isn't the original shader, it looks pretty darn cool. It just looks interesting. I don't know. What happened if you made this darker? Still, like, really, really interesting. And then, yeah, you can customize further. This is a really cool shader, though. Like, I dig this. I dig this shader. This is fun. And then the only thing I didn't figure out was, like, why this wireframe wasn't coming back. Whoa! That looks cool, too. Oh, also, you guys can, like I said, you can adjust the size of the wireframe here. How interesting is that? So cool. Wow. I don't know. I'm happy with it. That is so neat. That is so neat. And you don't have to use metal, or sorry, you don't have to use glass. You can use anything you want. What would 1.1 look like? Nah. Not cool. Whoa, what? Oh, I was just changing the color. So cool. Wow. I'm happy with that. I wish if only I had these modeling skills, I'd be truly unstoppable. There is something really cool that we can do. If you guys ever notice when you go to like a different view here, right? Like side view, top down view, whatever, you can see like a snapshot of like where the object is. There's actually a way to do this in geometry nodes that I discovered that's really, really cool. Do you guys want to see how to do it? Because it's really sick. And then this will be actually the last thing I cover, and then we'll be done. But this is like a way to see like 3 different views of like, it's almost like a blueprint view of your object. And the Iron Man helmet would actually be the perfect thing to do it with because it's just like a really cool object. So raise your hand. Raise your hand. Oh my God, I'm not in the classroom. Comment if you want to see that. If not, we'll transition to something else before this fly quite literally eats me alive. Like, I don't know where it came from. Like, it must be following me around the house. This is crazy. He said, absolutely. Let's see it. All right, I am going to just get rid of, like, everything in the scene except for the helmet. And I'm also going to get rid of the material because we're not going to actually use that right now. And I'm going to save this as Trifold. It'll make sense why I said Trifold in a second. All right, so we have our object. We'll go to geometry nodes and create a new geometry node setup. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do join geometry at the end so we can join everything back together. But I'm going to take our initial geometry and I am going to do mesh to curve. And I'm going to join it. And then this will make sense in a second, but we're going to set the position of the mesh. And we're just going to move it off to this side here. So now, basically what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 different versions of this. And we're going to flatten every single one of them. So I'm going to do transform geometry right here. And then for the scale, I can now scale this any which way that I want to. So I'll scale it on the X to 0. Or like 0.1 rather. And then I'll move it out more. Now you'll see we have this blueprint version. It's not perfect, but like I'll do like 0.001. Or let's do 0.01. That's fine. So now I have this blueprint version of the helmet, right? And I'm just going to switch this other one here. I'm going to add a switch. Can you full screen the shading tab so we can take a screenshot? Thanks. Yes, I will go back to that in just a second. So I'm going to turn this one off. So now look, we have a side profile of this. And then what we're going to do is we are going to duplicate this, bring it down here, plug in our geometry again, but this time we are going to move it less, and we are going to squish it the other way. So we're going to squish it on the y-axis like that, and it's all the way down there. We're going to reset it to 0. And now look, we have the y-axis We have the Z, or the X, right? And then we need one more. So let me just plug this in again. And we're going to rejoin. But this time we're going to change the transform geometry one more time. And we need to offset that as well. Where is it, though? Where did it go? Hello? Anybody? Join geometry. Yup. There's the original geometry. Now, where is my Z-scaled geometry? Where did it go? That is whack. Hold on. Components. Did I do something wrong here? No. Oh, yeah, I did do something wrong. I plugged the wrong thing in. There it is. Sorry about that, guys. Slight glitch there. There it is. Move it off to the side. Now, this may not be useful for some of you. Also, I don't know why this is not, like, facing the right way. Why is this? It's ever so slightly tilted. There we go. Okay. So, basically what this does is it takes your object, flattens it every way, and then now you have this view, this, like, 3D view. I don't know how you would call this. Oh, by the way, you can also rotate this. Was it the first one? You can rotate this first one here if you don't want it to be like how it was before. And then you can just offset it however much you need, like that. And if you want to, you can rotate the other one upwards too. But how cool is that, guys? You can like create a trifold of any object and it works on any object. I just thought that was a really cool thing you could do. Thoughts on that? I don't know. I thought you guys would appreciate that, but I thought that was cool. All right, I worked on that a while ago. All right, so you want the blueprint shader, huh? Let me full screen these nodes for you, buddy. There it is. Have at it. Remember, it's not perfect by any means, and you will need an empty to control everything. But you can, you can mess around with that. Yeah, it's just a cool little, like, it's a cool little thing I developed. I'm always working on stuff like that just for fun. But yeah, this is my blueprint shader. Mine is much more customizable, the one you can actually buy, but if you want to create it on your own, this is like a very base level version of this shader. Probably the most important thing about this shader is like how to control the transition component, like from glass or whatever you want it to be. Very cool. Oh man, it just looks so cool. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because it's like the Iron Man helmet. Like maybe I'm just like fanboying over the Iron Man helmet, but I just think it looks really cool. And like there's so much you could do with this for, I don't know, there's just, you could do anything you want with this. It is funny because I remember when I originally launched my blueprint shader, someone stole it and resold it as their own. But I don't mind like, sharing the knowledge now. But looking back, like I was like really protective over how the shader worked, just because like it took me I think it took me like a solid 8 hours in total to develop the shader and figure out how to like get that transition element to it. But now that you're seeing this here, I mean, this looks cool. Let's go ahead and let's add some depth of field because that's what I do with all my projects. I'm gonna do like the most ridiculous depth of field you've ever seen. I'm gonna turn this all the way down. It's going to be the most ridiculous. Oh, right now we're on orthographic. Let's do perspective. Crap. This is going to look either ridiculous or really cool. That looks pretty cool. I love depth of field. I could use depth of field all day long. Never even think twice about it. Just makes everything look so, maybe not even realistic, just kind of like dreamlike, maybe. And I think there's a certain element of like blurring the edges of reality because we do have depth of field with our eyes. Like when I focus on like the camera or the microphone, like things behind it will look blurry, but it's just really not the same. Like Blender, you just get this totally different effect, kind of like you would in a camera lens. Of course, that's the whole point, but there's just something cool about it. I can't help but enable that setting and at least try to mess around with that like concept. The only part about like the blueprint shader that's kind of a pain is like you want to make it controllable, so you have to, one of the things you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go into your shader editor and you're going to have to group all this into a group input. So you're going to have to like go here and group it like that. And then if you want to control things, you have to tab back into this and you have to decide what you want to control on your group input. So if I want to control the color of this, I can do that. If I want to go, this freaking thing better get the hell out of here. If I want to control the color of this, I can also do that. And now look, when I go over here, I have the ability to change the color of anything I want to on the fly, and I can do that now. So if I want it to be like a green, kind of like a solid green theme like this, I could do that. I like blue, so we're going to go with kind of maybe, or actually, let's try pink, just for fun. There you go, there's your like solid pink theme. Or if you want to do something that's like more like gold and yellow, you can do that. Totally your call. You can also control the roughness too. So if you wanted to, you could plug in your roughness value and you can control it like that as well. Did I mention that, this is going to blow your mind. You guys ready for this? This program that we're using right now, Blender, it's completely free. Woohoo! People don't believe it, but it is. And I think you can create some incredible things with Blender. Like it's like stupid that it's free. Like it's stupid because you think they can make so much money with it, but at the end of the day, they don't care. They just want to give us a creative tool that allows us to have that creative outlet, and there's Blender. Appreciate you going through it. Yeah, no problem. It was my pleasure. Trying to think what else I can cover. There's so many things I could teach you guys. Like, I'm always learning new stuff, but one of the cool things that you can do is, like, I love messing around with images in the shader editor and just, like, going in there and plugging and playing with things. What's something cool you could do? Like, you can remove, like, the black background of an image in Blender. It's almost like you can almost use Blender as Photoshop. It's like quite interesting. Let's see. Oh yeah, did you get? Yeah, and it's open source. Yeah. Did you get the nodes? Yeah, you did. Okay, good. Yeah. So that's at the end of the day. That's your shader. Again, there's so many cool things you can do with shaders. And like when you start to realize like what the nodes do, like when I realized, where is it? When I realized that you could control where something was with another object, I was like, what? And then you consider that you can add like an attribute node, and then you can control this within geometry nodes. It's so powerful. Like there's so, they gave you a building block system, like almost like Legos. Like here's your Legos, build whatever you want. Like it's just plug and play. Like you just have to get creative with it. And it's just so much fun. It's just so much fun. I love this stuff. I really genuinely love it. Also another fun, I like doing this. I always like turning the background transparent. Just makes everything look really cool. And you still get the same lighting, but then you get that awesome transparency. So cool. This is also a great model to work with for like examples of like shaders and like, because there's a lot of sharp angles on this. There's some smooth elements, so you get an idea of like what the shader would actually look like. You had me at Legos. Yeah, buddy. You already know it. You already know. All right. Let's try something here. Let's do, or you could make your own, you can actually make your own wireframe shader with geometry nodes too. Let me think here. Let's add an image. So I love working with images. Let's just add an image as a mesh plane. I'll go to my downloads and find an image. There's a lot we can work with. We could just work with this mountain one. That's fine. So like we have this picture of a mountain. Let's see what we can do with it. I just want to show you guys because like, so here's the picture up here. It's really just at the end of the day, like I'm not sure why I guess they plug the alpha in here because if it's a PNG with a transparent background, you can like mess around with it like that. But at the end of the day, you could do a lot with this. Like if you take a color ramp, you plug it in here. Oh, I'm sorry, hold on. do a mix shader, and then you plug this into a color ramp, and then you do, I think it's, let's see if I remember how to do this, transparent. Yep, so let's say we want to make like the blue color transparent. I'm pretty sure you can do that. Let's see if I remember how to do that. Blue. Yeah. I don't remember what this image looked like before. Do you guys? Okay, it did look like, okay. So let's say I wanted to get rid of just the blue parts. I could do it like that, right? I could take blue and white, and it just like kind of works. Let's see if I'm doing that right. But you can control like different elements of the photo. So cool. What if I wanted to get rid of just the white? I wonder if I just turn this white, would it get rid of the white? Or do I have to do black and white? I think I have to do black and white. There it is. So most of the white pixels were right here on the mountain. But anyway, this is how, if you have, here, let's do it with the logo. I'll just do it with the logo image so you can really see what's going on here. I have so many funny things on here. All right, we'll do it with the Gumroad logo. Okay, with the Gumroad logo, let's see. There we go. Look, you can cut out certain elements. How cool is that? Hold on, let me see if this does anything. I have to do white. You guys see what I'm doing here? You have to mess around with the color pickers, but you can actually like cut a background out of like an image. I just think it's the coolest thing ever. There's so much, like there's so many things you can do. I have so many cool images. You guys want to see an old project I was working on? I'll show you guys an old project I was working on. I can find it. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. So it's an old project I was working on. This was gonna be so I kind of dropped the ball on this one. This was gonna be a course that I was gonna develop. I never kind of got around to doing it, but it had to do with like rigid body physics and like soft body physics and stuff like that. But this was a fun one. Is this thing a fly or a mosquito? This thing needs to get the heck out of here, yo. Anyway, this was a fun one. This is a really fun project to work on. It took me a while to get the look that I was going for the like ropes and stuff. But I do want to full screen this for you guys real quick because there is like some pretty good detail in here. Like even when you zoom in, like you're probably like, oh well, if you zoom in, it's not gonna look good. But yeah, it still looks good because there's some displacement going on with the rope texture that I found. There's little hair follicles that I added in geometry nodes. There's some depth of field. There's some intense lighting. And I did some like color variation too with like the ropes and stuff like that. But ultimately, I thought it looked really good. All right, so that was one project. What is this one? Oh, this was probably a similar test that I did. What the heck was this? I have no idea what that was. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah. This was fun. Check this one out. Whoo! Little rigid body physics for you right there. That was a fun one right there. Yep. Let's see what else we got. What else do we have? Oh, smoke reveal. I love looking at old projects. This is a little glitchy. It's a little bit like noisy, but it looks good. What else we got? What else? Another smoke reveal. Again, a little bit like slow and glitchy. Oh, this was a cool one. This was like a shoe. This was when I was gonna do a rigid body, or not a rigid body, like a show reel with this shoe. This was like back when I was working on another course, and this was gonna be a cool one, but I never got around to like finishing the course. But it kind of shows you some like different ideas of like things you can do with a shoe and like physics and I don't know what would we have, soft cloth physics, rigid body. Particle physics. What else? Oh, smoke. This is smoke physics right here. So we had quite a few of them going on here. Kind of like a little show reel. Let's see. Oh, this was from an old tutorial. This is a fun one. I love this kind of stuff. Like, I love physics. Love physics. It's just so much fun. Like, how can you not love physics simulations? Very fun. What else? What else? Oh, this is a fun one too. They're all fun. Anything in Blender is fun. This one I had different objects like kind of blowing up into different shapes. Maybe I'll cover something like this in the next tutorial. But this one was cool because like you basically take spheres or whatever you want, you blow them up, kind of like inflate them with cloth. I think it was a cloth or soft body. I think it was cloth, and then you kind of inflate them into these different like containers. Basically, it's pretty cool. I interrupted you looking at what looked like tie-dye rubber bands with a red to greenish color gradient. Yeah. Yeah, but this was a fun one too. Again, we kind of go back to that lighting concept. Like, lighting is so important in making your renders look cool. And I think, I'm not saying I'm a master at lighting, but I think that's what elevates my work, is having that really solid lighting. This was a tutorial that I believe is on CG Cookie's website. This is a fun one. This one's like super simple, believe it or not. This actually took less than like, I want to say less than 10 minutes to actually create overall. It's pretty basic, and the way it works is it uses dynamic paint, and this print that's showing up in the dirt is actually, like it's actually imprinting on the dirt. Like this isn't like a special effect, like this is using dynamic paint to actually press into a surface. So if you want to get that like realistic look, this is what you should go with. This is dynamic paint, and this is in one of the top, I think it was like top 5 uses of dynamic paint. Super awesome. So definitely check out that tutorial if you haven't already. Man, I love going through old projects. It's so much fun. We're getting towards the, oh, we're not even close to the end here. Oh, this is another one for CG Cookie. This was logo reveal. Yep. Oh, this was a fun one. I think this is the whole tutorial right here. But yeah, this one you kind of working on, oh, look, there I am. You're working on rigid body physics, force fields. Whew. Some clean renders, too. Looks good. What else we got here, guys? Want to look at a few more of these with me? Let's look at this one. What was this one here? This is like objects coming together. I don't know what this was. Oh, yeah. This is a cool one. Smoke simulation. So, I never really got that far with this one. There's got to be a better one on here. These were all like trying to get, oh yeah, that's a cool one. This was trying to get smoke to fill like a volume. This one's wild looking. I know, it's like, I don't know what I was thinking with this camera angle. So thank you. You said clean renders. Thank you, Spencer. I appreciate that. But yeah, this one was wild. I don't know how I got the smoke to look like this, but it just looked so crazy, and it was so much fun to render. It took forever to render, but the result was cool. This is the same render from a different angle. Very cool. And then, what's this one here? Can you tell I didn't quite get the result I was looking for? I had a lot of versions of this, because smoke simulations are so tricky. But it all started, you know what it started with? I think it was this stinking thing here. Yeah. So it started, this was a fun one. Maybe we'll redo this if I can get it to be consistent enough. The hardest part about doing a tutorial on something is trying to get it to be like super consistent with like when you guys actually get your result on your end, trying to make it consistent with that. Sand or snow print can be very impressive with tweaking. Yeah, you can get some really cool stuff. So this one was a letter smoke fill. Now you could do this with any object and smoke simulation. The cool part here is the shader that I created for this. It's actually like an animated shader. You can kind of tell it's a little bit unrealistic, but it kind of gives this like bubbling effect, almost like this like super rapidly expanding smoke that fills an area. And it's basically just using a noise. I think it's a noise texture that's animated with a color ramp, something simple like that. And yes, I realize this is very pixelated. It's not the highest quality render. This is just a test render. I thought it turned out really awesome. I was really happy with this. Just so cool watching like smoke expand into an area. I could watch this over and over again. I don't know about you guys. Anyway, there was that, and then I think this is another version. Very similar version. And then I reversed it. This one, same concept though. Smoke filling kind of like a location. And I think it's, if I remember correctly, it's pretty simple to like recreate this too. Maybe we'll do this next time, like smoke fills object or something. What's this? I think it's a liquid simulation. Oh yeah, liquid simulation. This one didn't turn out that good. Crap, I did not mean to minimize that. What's this one? Wine pour. Oh yeah, not terrible. The lighting, I thought the lighting came out really good in this one. Now, obviously, like the liquid itself, it's really tough to get like a realistic liquid in Blender. Obviously, you can use flip fluids, but a lot of people are like, Kenny, I don't want to pay money for flip fluids. It costs money. So this is with Blender's built-in fluid system. You can raise the resolution even more. It just takes forever. Flip fluids is pretty efficient. I would say it's worth the money for the result that you get, but a lot of it comes down to like materials, lighting, frame rate, post like compositing, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I think this looks pretty good. Like, especially with the lighting in the background. Like if you look up a wine glass pour on like Google, like you're gonna get something that looks kind of like this. So I thought I did a pretty good job here. But all right, let's go to the next one here. Oh, here's the still render of that. You can tell I didn't even render it. What else we got? What's this one? Oh, logo formation. Yeah, can't go wrong. A little bit of rigid body physics, just something real simple. Nice and crisp, though. You can kind of tell that I took my time to render this one. Had some really nice little metallic materials in here that kind of formed together using a force field to kind of form around this X logo, if you will. Yo, this bug. Guys, this bug, if anyone's still watching, this bug is actually gonna like I'm going on a hunt after this. I'm gonna get this bug. All right, what else we got here? Ooh, classic liquid trapped in a bottle. Why do I name things like this, guys? Like really? Like, where is this thing? And what is this thing? Like, why did I name this what I named it? And what the heck was I what the heck was I doing? I do love like looking at old projects, but I'm also like, what did I used to like actually make on Blender? Like, what the heck is this? Oh yeah. This was a fun one. I was hoping this blew up more on Instagram, but that's okay. It was still fun. You can also use HDRIs for lighting. That is very true. Ooh. Ooh. This is a classic. Where is it? Oh wait, this is the whole tutorial. I label guys. The name of this, why is this in reverse? Can I reverse it? I don't know why this is in reverse, but this is smoke simulation. The name of this file is smoke yes 001 0050. Is this the right one? There we go. That was a smoke simulation I was looking for. There it is. Very fun. All right, next up, what do we got? That was a client project. Oh my gosh, I have so many files. There's literally, I mean, there's like what is this? Oh, this was back when I was messing around. This is a fun little render. I actually kind of forgot about this one. This was back when I was messing around with hair systems and like just like compositing and stuff like that. But I also have like some nice scratches on here that I got through. I just plugged in an image of scratches into the roughness, and that was that. Maybe with a color ramp. But yeah, this was a fun little render. I used to just create like still renders. Like I really didn't make animations. Oh, we're coming up on something that I'm super proud of though. I created this camera here. Oh, here it is. So, has anybody ever seen one of these cameras here? The Yashica Matte 124G. This is like a classic camera, and I wanted to challenge myself to model it in Blender. So here's my modeling. And texturing, by the way. So this is the camera here. I thought it turned out great. Probably the hardest part was like finding the right textures for everything. But modeling overall, it was tricky. Like it was really tricky to model some of this stuff on here. like the lenses and getting the right like lens shape. But a lot of this stuff is like Boolean based modeling. Pretty fun though. That was a fun one. What else we got? This fly has got to go. What is this? Oh, dynamic paint. We're getting towards the end here, guys. There's not much more. Blueprint shader. Nice. Oh, this one. This was when I made a fake product called Blend Juice. And it was like supposed to be like this bottle of like creative juice. Like you drank it and then you were suddenly very creative. Some of you are probably thinking, well, that's a beer, Kenny. That's what you drink, right, to get creative. But no, this was just something fun that I came up with. And I was really focused on like, I found this add-on with like water droplets. I was focused on like making things look like they had some sort of condensation on them. I even went as far as to put like frost on the bottom of this thing. Let's see if I can find the shot. Where's the one shot? This was like one of my more realistic renders. Where is this thing? Oh, is this it? One of these has got to be in here somewhere. No. Come on, tell me I saved the render. This was a clean render right here. I'm gonna be kind of upset if I can't find this render right here. Oh man, did I delete it? It's probably on my Instagram somewhere. What is this? I don't know what the heck that was. I cannot believe it, guys. I can't find the render. I do like going through old projects because it's cool to see what I came up with. Sometimes you got to delete stuff, though, because it takes up so much space. Like, these are big files. Oh, I almost was ready to attack the fly. But I'm so focused on Blender stuff, it's like, I don't have time for this fly. Yeah, I don't know. That pretty much wraps up the tutorial, though. We already went through everything we needed to go through. Is there anything else you guys want to see, like, before I head off, or... These are just some of my best modeling skills right here. I modeled this, I don't even know what this thing's called, but I modeled this in Blender. I used a sculpting mode, too. I forget what that guy's called. Arceus? I don't even know. Oh, Magnemite. Good times. Blender was the perfect program to do this into. Have you ever made rain in Blender? No, but like I could probably do that. I can imagine how you would go about doing something like that and setting that up. Let's see what else we got. Oh my god. Is this me? Holy mackerel. What was I doing? Look at that haircut. If I could go back, I would tell this version of myself to go get a haircut. Like ASAP. Oh, this was back when I was modeling Pokemon. I remembered I modeled Mew, and then I forgot to add the tail. I was really upset with myself. And that's pretty much it. This is about as far back as it goes. This is like, and this is just my downloads folder. This isn't even the OG, like the OG Blender folder that I have. Oh my god. This is when I first started in Blender. I thought I was so cool making like transparent frosted glass, but then I put this on Gumroad and people were downloading it like crazy. Bring the haircut back. Caitlin says, this is very inspiring. I'm subscribing. Thank you so much. Plain Fusion Art, good to see you. Someone said Apple Vista. What's that? He said bring the haircut back. Oh man, yeah, I love looking back through my Blender journey. Oh man, whoo, whoo! Look at these Blender, look at these Caustics. Oh my god, they're gorgeous. This was back when I had all day to render stuff. I would just, because when I first built, I built this computer when oh my god, Jesus. That was a flood alert. Sorry about that, guys. That scared the crap out of me, though. I mean, I get it. They need to make a noise that, like, gets your attention. But that scared the living crap out of me. That was so loud. Like, that, like, actually... Like if I could have a heart attack at age 30, I was pretty close. Like I was pretty close. That was the dumb, like, it's not even raining. Is it even raining? Hey, babe. Is it raining? Is it raining? Is it raining outside? Did you get that alert? Oh, tornado warning? Thank you. Okay, well, come down here if it starts to tornado. All right. All right, well, I'll tell you what, that was kind of scary. I'm not even like, I'm more scared of that sound than I am of the stinking tornado. Who's with me on that? I cannot stand like loud noises like that. Anyway, it's ironic because I'm about to have a baby, so I better get used to loud noises. But regardless, these caustics came out great. Do I have another angle of these caustics? Oh man, I thought I was so cool. I thought I was so cool doing this. Looking back, like there's probably a lot I would go about improving on this, just like a nicer background and stuff like that. He said it's coming down crazy in NYC. Well, I better batten down the hatches then if it's about to go crazy outside. Anyway, let's create some caustics real quick. That could be just a fun way to like wrap this up. Man, I'll tell you what. I did the key to the caustics honestly is the lighting, materials too, but let's wrap this thing up. Let's do some caustics here. I am not going to save this cuz that was just like for fun. All right, so very first thing you need for caustics, you're going to need a plane because you need to make sure that you have something for the caustics to like reflect onto. You also need, not a camera, an area light. Well, you can have a camera if you want. I'm just going to turn this area light like this, scale it up, and I'm going to make it super bright, like 500. Let's go to rendered view. Let's click on our plane, and you want to make sure that you go to your object properties. Under, where is it? Shading, you want to check receive shadow caustics. And then on your light, you want to click on shadow caustics right here in the light settings. Now we just need an object. I'll just use Suzanne. Monkey. I'm also, you want your object to be like super smooth as well. Sorry. Yo, this bug, like, it would be my luck to like I could be on a phone call that at the end of the phone call I get $1 million, but this bug would bite me and would mess up the whole phone call. I know, that's a crazy thought, but you never know. All right, we're going to make this glass with 0 roughness and go back into our object properties, cast shadow caustics. Now, when you click this, it's going to take a second because it has to load the render kernels. It says may take a few minutes the first time. So let's give it a second. Once it's done, we should be able to see the result of the caustics. Did Blender ever fix the caustics on GPU issue for the Mac version? I have no idea. Hopefully they did though. Hopefully they did fix that. All right, let's see. Is it working yet? Maybe it might take several minutes. Any comments you guys have or any questions for me while we wait? Or maybe this is a good chance to kill the fly. I'm pretty sure that this fly has bit me like 100 times since I started this live stream. I'm like if I had to keep track, that's probably how many times this thing bit me. Look, see how it's not loading? I'm trying to rotate around the screen and it's not loading. This better be worth it. I just wanted to show you guys caustics, but it really does take a second. I'm also live streaming 4K, or I guess 1080p on Blender. Oh, here we go. Is it good? All right, it should be working now. Let's bring this down here. I can't tell if it's working or not. Let's make this blue. Oh, you know what I have to do? You want to make this a point light. That's it. Point light, and then radius, you can just increase or decrease that. So the smaller the radius is, the crispier that the caustics will be. But I discovered something really cool. If you take the light source and you duplicate it a bunch of times, you can get something wild here. Also, I'm going to make our floor plane be black so the caustics show up better. Maybe like slight gray. That's fine. All right, so now if you look, I don't know if this is rendering on your end. I'll just give it a second. So now we have some really cool caustics, and this is where we can like kind of have some fun now that it's like loaded all the caustics for us. So we're going to rotate this guy, and then we're going to lower it. Oh my God. My lights just flickered. Please don't log me out of this live stream. All right, so now you can kind of see like how beautiful some of these caustics can be. Also, like the angle of the light is going to matter as well. So like I'll highlight all these area lights, bring them down, and you can probably guess what's going to happen when you bring these lights down. It's going to kind of drag everything out. Like it's going to take all the light that's getting pushed through our monkey, and it's going to kind of like spread it out even more. I really like to go to the top-down view because then you can kind of like push these lights around. You can kind of get something like this. And then if I want to, I could duplicate my monkey, and I could change the color to yellow. And then I could duplicate it again. My computer's probably about to explode, and I'll make this one pink. And now you can see that we have these beautiful caustics that are spreading across the scene here. This is crazy demanding. Oh yeah, this is like if I try to render this thing's taking a minute to render here. But you can see like it looks pretty cool, right? So let's try some different shapes. Let's delete our monkeys. Let's just add in a sphere. Scale this. I'll copy the material over. Shade, smooth. And, oh, do I have caustics enabled for this? I don't think I do. Cast shadow caustics. There it is. And let's hide our monkey so you guys can just see the sphere here. And there it is. So it looks really cool. Like I said, like a lot of the stuff is going to have to do with like how flat the sphere, like if we like flatten the sphere. Look at that. Let's rotate it. Let's pretend it's like this like disc or something. How cool is that though? You kind of this like multi-caustic effect. Now this is something, this might be like risky to do this, but let's try it. Let's go over to our modifiers. Let's add a deform, what is it? Displace. Let's displace this with a, I don't know, not marble texture. Let's do clouds. There we go. Clouds texture, and then we'll add a subdivision surface. We'll make it a little bit less. But this distortion here is going to give us like these crazy lines. Let's distort it a little bit more. Look at the crazy caustics that we're getting now that we've distorted this even further. You can imagine what this might look like with a diamond or with like a gem or I don't know, like an amethyst crystal or something like that. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with this. But Caustics is really fun. Like them adding that to Blender, like pushed Blender to that next level, which is why everybody loves Blender. Oh my God. How gorgeous is that? Wow. I mean, it literally looks like water. I don't know, it just looks good. It is beautiful. Yeah. It really, really is beautiful. I could look at caustics all day long and just think about all the cool things that you could do with them. Now you can blend this together. So if you wanted to, you could like take another object, duplicate that material, make it like pink or something. And you can kind of start to like blend these colors together. Move this one back. I think I have my IOR very low. Like it's not a realistic IOR for glass. Normally it would be like 1.45. And you would actually get something closer to this. This is a more realistic IOR for glass. But you can see like we're not getting, like things aren't really coming through as much. So you kind of have to fake it until you make it. But if you go into your light paths here, you can kind of see, let's just see what I have. Filter glossy. We don't want anything filtered. Now, Caustics doesn't just work with glass. I learned this in another tutorial. Caustics will also work. How long have we been streaming? Hour and 43 minutes. Caustics will also work with metallic objects. So if you were to like hide this and this and create like a Taurus. I really almost spelled Taurus the wrong way. Oh, Lord, that's funny. All right, let's just say you have a torus on top of this plane. Let me just make sure it's like barely on top of the plane. Perfect. We'll just give this a subdivision surface. I don't think I can like not even speak anymore because I've been streaming for so long. Shade it smooth. Make it metallic. Let's make it like gold metallic. Low roughness. Enable cast shadow caustics. Make sure that filter glossy is set to 0. We should be getting some caustics here. Why are we not? Should be getting some caustics. You can kind of see a little bit of it. Let me change this to high roughness. It's weird. I expected to see more. Usually you can see like how the light bounces off here. Let me try, instead of a point light, let me just try an area light over here. It's weird, we're still not really getting anything. Usually you would see it like down here and see it like bouncing off. Did I do something wrong? No. Cast shadow caustics. That's weird. I don't know why it's not popping up. Caustics and CMY are gorgeous. I know. I agree. Maybe it's the actual... Let me try something here. So weird. Oopsies. No. I want my original light. Wait, where is my... Where's my area light? Oh, there it is. Okay. Let's try this. Again, I don't know, like... Am I doing something wrong? Usually you get, like, these caustics, like, bouncing off of the gold. I've seen this done before, and I guess now it's not working. Weird. Sorry, guys. Thought it was going to work. You kind of see a little bit of, like, reflection down here, but it's really weird. Receive caustics? Yeah, the ground plane has been set to receive caustics. That's whack. All right. Normally, like, with a gold ring or jewelry, you would get that caustic effect, and I'm not sure why we're not getting that. But that is like the mystery of Blender. You just have to mess around with these things until you get what you want. Bring our sphere back here. And now we're back to normal caustics again. Although, like I said earlier, we're at 1.45. 1.2, you kind of get that light going through there more. Oh, you're probably wondering what happens if you adjust the roughness. Show you guys. This is like a much rougher glass. You still get caustics. It just gets like diffused a little bit. So if that's the look you're going for, go for it. I wonder what would happen if you took an image, plugged it into a glass shader, and if you could get like a stained glass look. I just want to see something here. Let's play around with that for a second, because now I'm like super curious. Like, where's that image of the mountain? All right. Is it possible to get a stained glass look with this? Kind of. I mean, it is working with caustics. I didn't expect it to actually like work that good, but it is working. I just had the funniest thought because we just scrolled by this photo. I don't know, this is so stupid. It has nothing to do with what we were doing, but like, oh, that's funny. This is the girl trying to do math. Oh, the things we do in Blender. How many IWAR values do you have memorized? Be honest. Let's see. Water, 1.33. Glass, 1.45. Acrylic, I think, is like 1.5 or 1.55. And I think I used to have like ruby, quartz, and sapphire memorized, but there is a whole table of IOR online that you can utilize. That's so funny that you say that. Oh my gosh. You've caught me red-handed. I know a lot of the IORs. I know a few. It is funny because originally, like, this was intimidating. Now I look at this, I'm like, this is the simplest node in the world. Principal BSDF is probably the most like overwhelming one that you'll ever see. I feel like they took the Principal BSDF and they tried to make it like an all-encompassing node, and it kind of is, but it's also like, I don't know, like I kind of like having a separate node for each thing too. Like a Principal BSDF, you can turn into a glass BSDF if you turn up the transmission and you can adjust the IOR. So it's like at that rate, why even include that in the Principal BSDF? I don't really know. I don't know what goes through the heads of the Blender developers, but I'm sure there's a reason that they have that, or they had it. Maybe they had it before they had the glass BSDF. I have no idea. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, we can plug in like a color ramp into our color, and then we could take this, make it pink, and make it green. And then we could do HSV. Let's make a rainbow glass. How about it? We gotta scale this or something. I'm really not sure what this fly has against me, but I'm gonna ruin this fly's day in a second here. That's cool. Well, it is possible. This kind of gives you an idea of like, could you make a could you make your own dispersion shader with this? Probably. Use some kind of layer weight or something. No. Sea glass. There it is. All right, guys. Well, I will be honest with you. I am probably going to head offline now. I do think we had a really fun stream. I feel like we went over a lot of stuff. This all started with Apple Glass, and then it kind of went to like the depths of Blender. Like we did a lot. I am curious though. Comment what you guys want to see. He said that fly hates Caustics. Yeah, I think the fly hates me, but it probably hates Caustics more, right? Doesn't want to deal with that render time. Comment what you guys want to see next. Again, we went over a lot today. This was just like a fun live stream, and I try to keep them fun. Definitely let me know if you guys like enjoyed this style, or if you'd rather me like just focus on one thing, because I could easily live stream for like 20 minutes and then be done. But I kind of enjoy like chilling, like exploring new ideas, talking to you guys, seeing what you guys have to say and what you're interested in, and kind of just like chatting, you know, and like having a fun time on Blender. But also just like debating things like, what will AI do? Like, what's the best way to denoise an image? Like, is the compositor worth using? Should I download Photoshop? Stuff like that. Just talking to you guys, having fun. But let me know what you guys want to see next in the next tutorial or the next live stream. I'm trying to do these every day until this baby gets here. I don't know if you guys know this, but I am expecting a child soon. So you may not hear. There might be a certain point where like you don't hear from me for a little bit. If that happens, that's because I've had said child, and I'll be taking care of said child. But I'll still try to find time for this here and there with like tutorials and like developing new products and shaders and things like that. So yeah, let me know what you guys want to see in the next one. I appreciate you guys staying on for so long. We had peak concurrent viewers was 40, which is awesome. But I thought we had more than that. I think we had like 55 at one point. We did really good today. So good job showing up, guys. Could you do a CRT TV shader? Yeah, I could definitely do that. That's actually really, really easy to do. Well, okay, actually, I'll have to look up that exact. You said CRT TV. Let me just look at what that looks like. Oh, like kind of like retro vibe. You're talking about like something like this, or are you talking more like just like pixelated and grainy? GG, Mr. Phases. Thank you. Yes, very good game. I mean, we could try something like this. This would probably be a matter of like adding a noise texture using brick texture or Voronoi texture or something to like break up the image, or a video and using like an emission shader. I could imagine how we could piece something like this together. Yeah. Yeah, this would be really cool. We could definitely explore something like that. Congrats on baby. Your life is about to get much better. Mine did. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm very excited. Gonna have them like hop right on Blender, you know, right after they're born. Just like straight out of the womb. It's time for Blender. It's time for your daily Blender live stream, you know what I mean? Like father, like son. Well, actually, I don't know if it's boy or girl, but find out. So it's exciting. Yeah, very exciting. You know, retro scan lines. Oh, yeah, like you could do that. Like I say, like these types of like scan lines where it like kind of goes over and over like on a loop. Yeah, I feel like you could do something like that with like wave texture and like animate the offset or the W value, something like that. We definitely explore something like that next time with shader nodes. Yeah, that's definitely possible. Definitely, yeah. Let's see. Let me just see CTV. Trying to think of what. Oh, here we go. Effect. I just want to see what people do. Yeah, there it is. Has it been done in Blender? I feel like it's probably been done, but I could probably make one too. It's like customizable. I don't know. This could be a very quite challenging thing. Like we can definitely try it though. CRT original effect. This is because this is the original one. This is the very first one that's ever been created, guys. I love when people say like original or like OG, even though like creating this effect is based on a pre-existing thing anyway. Is anything truly original? I guess that means nothing I've ever created is original. This is really legit. That's tough. Like, do you use chromatic aberration? Oh, that's cool. That is really, really cool. It's almost like glitchy. We'll have to experiment a little bit with it. Or maybe you just make a dispersive like glass, and then underneath of that is the actual screen. There's scan lines at the end of the press start CG cookies tutorial. Oh, Sanctus did a take on it. Oh, okay. Okay, very cool. Yeah, I can imagine how you would break up an image into pixels or like with a Voronoi texture. I do think you might be able to accomplish something like that. So cool. There's a lot of cool things we can do. This is a cool vibe. It's like, is this just to show all the colors of the TV? Geisha from Blade Runner. Let me type this in. Blade Runner. Oh, like the big screen. Oh, yeah. Wild. This is like the new one, right? This is the more advanced one. Or Blade Runner 2049. Yeah, I've seen this movie. I vaguely remember this effect here. This was pretty cool. It's like a hologram kind of. Yeah. Very cool vibe. Very retro, you know? All right, guys. Well, until next time, have a great day. I'm going to go ahead and hop off the live stream, go eat some dinner, hang out with the wife. Yeah, I'll hopefully tomorrow we'll be online and maybe we'll do some more like shader editors stuff. Just mess around. Maybe just have a good time and mess around on Blender. It doesn't always have to be like a preset thing. Like I might even make a thumbnail for tomorrow that just says like shader experimentation, you know, something simple like that. Maybe we'll make a new series. We'll call it Shader Talk. I don't know. Or hold on. Let's think. Let me just think of a cool name real quick. We'll call it Node hold on. How do I think? Node place I'd rather be. Thoughts? That's so cheesy. All right, let me think. The Node Lounge. Nope, that's too similar to something else that's not quite appropriate. Let me think. I guess it doesn't have to do with nodes or shader. Like, I don't know. How about just like Blend Talk? I have no idea. Someone come up with a cool name for me and we'll use that. It's like so many things you could do. Go back to the Apple Glass real quick. Remember when I said we were done? We're done, guys. The stream is over. Go home. Oh, this is the actual blueprint shader. Wait, where's the one we made? Instead of blueprint shader, I called it shader blueprint. That's great. Oh man, coming back to this. So stupid simple. It like really was so stupid simple. But also like why did I make it so complicated? Like am I crazy or did I was my uh there's node place like home. Oh my gosh, that's great. There's node place like home. That's that might work. That might work. There's node place like home. Mm. Shaders martial art. I kind of like that. I don't mind that at all actually. Shaders martial art. Maybe we could do like two different series. Like one is like you guys throw challenges at me and the other one's like legit. I don't know. I guess they're all legit because we're still in Blender blending. Shaders martial art. Um the art of shaders. There's node place like home. Gradient texture. Oh my gosh, guys, you gotta let's shade around. Oh my gosh, this is great. Should I ask ChatGPT what it thinks? No, I kind of no. You know what? Let's leave ChatGPT out of this. Let's come up with this on our own. I like the suggestions that we have so far, though. These are great. Oh my gosh, the chat's been live today, guys. We've had people. It all started with people arguing about denoisers. That's great. That's how you know you're in a really good community is when people are arguing about denoisers. Shader martial arts. Oh my gosh. I don't know, guys. Like, can we come up with something cool? My God. This fly. Should we make a quick thumbnail on Canva together? I think we have to. But then do we have to like label it episode 1? You know what I mean? Like these are all my previous amazing, incredibly creative thumbnails. This one I didn't end up using. Let's call it. Well, hold on. First of all, let's get a screenshot of some of our favorite nodes. What do you guys say? Hold on. Texture coordinate. Shader, mixed shader. What will be a classic like? Hold on. Is this like the classic like 2 nodes right here? Principal BSDF. I don't know. The Shader Dojo. All right. That might be it. Did I really just scratch my leg and now I'm bleeding, guys? This is great. I'm getting hurt on Blender live stream. All right. The Shader Dojo. I like that. I think I like that. What node would go really well with this, though? Or do we like... Wait, I have an idea, guys. Guys, I got it. Watch this. You prepare to be amazed. Or maybe to not be amazed. Where's my snipping tool? This will be the last thing I do. Remember the famous last words. This will be the last thing I do. Why can I not see... Yo. There it is. You guys ready? I bet you guys know what I'm going to do. I bet you know. Let's see. Who thinks they know what I'm going to do? You guys are going to like this, I think, if I do this correctly. Where's the color that I need? All right, we'll use the eyedropper tool. That's fine. I know you're probably thinking, I cannot believe he's using Canva. Why aren't you using Blender for this, dude? I'm thinking we put the text up there. What do you guys think? Thoughts on that? I don't know. I feel like something like this could be really fun. Where is it? What the heck? Where did my color swatch go? We'll just use that. All right. So I'm thinking we do something like this, and then we call it like the Shader Dojo. Rage baiting the fly with Blender shaders. Yeah, it could be. That's great. Hold on. All right. The Shader Dojo. Left line. Let's find a cool font. This may or may not look good. I have no idea. We're gonna go for it. Needs to be legible though. It needs to be legible. This is actually, this font's called Du Haiyan, and it has Chinese text or like some kind of crazy text next to it. So maybe like that's the vibe. I don't know. Also, I think the line spacing, you know, like, do we like, layer, bring forward, bring to front. There we go. Like, is this the vibe? You know what I mean? And then we just put like a ninja on the left. Let's see if we can find a fun ninja. All right, create our own. Make some noise with denoise. Yo, Canva needs to stop tripping with their premium content. Oh my gosh. Oh, do we make our own ninja out of a shader node? Hold on a second. What's the math node look like? Math. Ooh, maybe we can make a ninja out of this. Let's just see. I'm just spitballing here. Okay, so what if we made a ninja's face like out of that? You know what I'm saying? Okay. A little something like that, you know what I'm saying? And now we can make a ninja face. Oh my god, look at all these awesome options. Okay, I think I have an idea of like what I want to do here. Something kind of like this, like just maybe like just the eyes, like just this little part right here. Basically just this, but with, hold on. I just need like I need another one of these. It needs to be white. And then I need to shrink it down a little bit, right? This is going to be either really cool or really stupid looking. And now we need eyes in the middle. Ninja cat. Oh my gosh. All right. What was I doing? Okay, yeah, I need an eyeball. So we use this. No, actually, I want a regular shape. We'll just do this. It's fine. Is this like the most ridiculous thing I've ever done? Yep, probably. It looks awesome though. Ninja bandana. Like, what is that thing on the top called? Like, what would you like call that? It's like a little hair tie, like where they like this little piece. What is that called? Should we put a little ninja star on there? Oh, that's it. The little like hat. Oh, you know what else we need, guys? We need to cover up where it says add, and we need it to be like just blue. Oh my god, what did I just do? I forgot the controls are not the same as Photoshop in here, so it gets a little bit tricky. All right, the shader dojo. Guys, I'm loving this. Or should we call it the node dojo, or is that, no, I don't know. He said ninja cat. I need the ninja, like, ninja cap. Ninja cap vector. There we go. Oh, whoa. Let's see if we can find usage right Creative Commons, because I don't want nobody coming over here and suing the node dojo over here, okay? Let's see what we can find. There's really nothing. I mean, if I'm just taking a small part of the image, I feel like it's okay, right, guys? I mean, let me just see. That's so cool, but I don't know if I can. I need like that little tiny portion right there. It's almost just like a little like ribbon, or like the hat. Is the hat a triangle? Like, could we get away with a triangle, or could we get away with like a small ribbon, like something like that? Let's just see what they got. Let's see what they got for free. That could work. Put a little blue circle and triangles behind his head to show a bandana is tied. It's a good idea. Let's do that, and yeah, you know what? Let's just make it out of simple shapes. I like it. Let's do this, and let's make it blue. Is that the right blue? It is. And then 2 triangles, you said? Let me just look at real quick what it looks like. It's kind of like that. It's kind of what I'm looking for. There we go. That's kind of what I'm looking for there. These 2 little guys here. They're almost like half circles. Actually, let's do this. Let's do this. This may or may not look good, but we'll try it. I feel like that kind of works. The piece ribbon you just said would do that instantly. It would, but I actually think this looks like a little ninja guy. He's kind of, I don't know, he's kind of cute. I don't know. Look at him. Look at, he's just chilling. He's a ninja. Should this be more like oh man. I feel like this needs to be wider and slightly slimmer. And should these be closer together? Like, I don't know. Thoughts, guys? I mean, I don't... That's awesome. Ninja mask. I just want to get some concepts here. But yeah, this is the last thing I'm doing, guys, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Oh my God, there's just too many ideas. There's too many. Oh Lord. What else do they have here, guys, for us? Could that work? Could this work? Hold on. Instead of the other one? This one? What do we like better? Or do we do this on the other side? I don't know. I don't mind that. Okay. I said looks amazing. Little hat for the left corner. Oh, we need a sample. What do they call it? Katana. Yeah, we need a katana. That's what we're missing, guys. We're missing a katana. We're not promoting violence here, but let me I just want to see something now. That's premium. Give me the non-premium version. No, I don't want that. Looking for kind of like the crossed ones. Oh, that would have been perfect. Then we could have just like, hold on. No, I need a non-premium one. Ooh, throwing stars. Oh my God, guys, there's so many good ones on here. This is a good one too. I do have a premium account somewhere else. Just say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle bandanas. Teenage. Wow, that was crazy how fast it knew. So awesome. Oh, maybe this needs to be blue? Nah, I like it. Well, I think it looks good white. Yeah. All right, where was I going? All right, let me see. Katana vector. And let's just see, because I don't want anyone getting all, oh my gosh, you stole my katana. All right, now let's see what could work here. We need something like this, kind of. That could work. That could work. No. Yeah, like something simple. Or do we make it ourselves because we're creative like that? Well, duh. Let me just look up. Let me go back to katana. That's not what I want. What did I type in? Katana. Mask. The mask looks good. Yeah, I agree. All right. I'm glad we're making this together because I couldn't do this without you guys. I really couldn't. I enjoy this stuff. I really do. Remember, we're only gonna really see the top half of this, so I'm just gonna like do a little something like this. Just go over here. This will be, I don't know, gold. And then we'll duplicate this again. Bring it up here. And what else? What else does the katana have? Because it kind of has like a sheathing. Is that a katana? Like, I don't know. Maybe a more like a white color. Let's make them white. Let's see how that looks. Does that even look like a sword? I feel like it doesn't. Like more like this. Yeah. And then there's one more thing I want to do. I want to make like a very slight highlight on one of the edges here. Probably like overthinking this katana thing like way too much. Or not enough. Let's go ahead and right there. Perfect. What do you guys think? Is that a good katana? Watch, I may add it on there and then I won't even like it. All right, let's see. Okay, let's go ahead and position this group behind everything. Let's rotate this. So far, thoughts? I feel like it looks kind of like a sword. How did that get back in there? All right, duplicate that and rotate again. Thoughts, guys? All right. Thoughts? Is it too light or is it too, I realize like too contrasty? Let's ungroup this stuff real quick. I feel like these shapes here, which are the white parts, need to be like, maybe like a gray. Yeah. Does it look like swords or does it just look like a bunch of blocks? Like I can't really, I'm trying to like tell. What do you guys think? It's ridiculous. I've never worked this hard on something, I swear. The shader dojo. And should the ninja be like what this is connected to? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. And like I almost feel like this stuff's like out of place. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hype it up too hard, but this is legendary. It's just like we're just like casually using Canva to make like the best thumbnail in the world, right? Oh my gosh. This is great. I wonder, just for a second, let's hear me out, guys. I want to see what this would look like if it was like this was. And I'm like eyeballing it real quick to see what I think. We could be onto something here. Or do we plug in the output of the math node into the material output? Am I overthinking this, guys? Do we like it so far? It's pretty cool. You know what we need that I didn't add yet? Where's the dots in here? Don't they usually have dots on the background? View. Area. I swear, they used to have like grid dots, didn't they? Where did that go? Where's our preferences at? Edit, preferences, viewport, or now interface maybe? Display, no, lights, wait, themes, here we go, themes, shader editor, node editor, okay, grid. There it is. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. I just want a quick screenshot of this so I can add it to the background. Make it a little more legitimate. I knew we were missing something. This is that something. It's so subtle. I don't even think you can barely see it. Subtle, but we know it's there. So I'm happy with it. Yeah, you can kind of see it. I'll lock that into place. The grid dots on the theme called. Yes, that's it. That's it. Oh, the only thing is now you can kind of tell where these things are placed because they have that outline, right? But that's okay. All right, might have to revisit this, but I like the way it looks so far. The shader dojo. Oh, you guys, I got it. Hold on, I got it. You ready? This is what we're gonna do. I am going to put this is what's gonna wrap it up. The episode is gonna go right here. Thoughts? Thoughts, comments, concerns? Should this be different color? Yeah. All right, the Shader Dojo, episode 1. Thoughts? Oh, we need like a live button. Shadow. Is this like too clickbaity though, having like a live button on here? I feel like it might be. I don't know. I'm just probably playing with ideas at this point. Shader Dojo. She said, yep. Oh, no, I actually liked it before. Oh my God. There it is. I feel like this guy should be like the main thing, right? Am I going crazy? I think I'm going crazy. All right, so we got the Shader Dojo guy. He's our ninja, right? We have, he looks great. Like, I mean, this is his, like, this is what he does. Hold on. This is the last thing I'm going to add to this. I need a throwing star. Need one that looks like this. Nah, that won't work. All right, we'll come back to this. I got to hop offline, guys. But it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. I am going to actually stop the live stream because I have been live streaming for 2 hours and 22 minutes. You guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll work on some fun stuff tomorrow. Maybe we'll start the first